Welcome to the Technical Writing Success Video Overview by Kurt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Today, we're digging into what happens when two absolute giants, one in media, one in tech, go head-to-head. We're going to deconstruct that really high-stakes dispute between Disney and YouTube TV, and we're pulling our analysis from what industry observers were saying on LinkedIn back in November of 2025. Let's dive in. You know, this quote from Dylan Jones really just nails it, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of this whole story and points to the one thing that has almost unbelievable power in media today: live sports. This was never just a simple business negotiation. It was a countdown to kickoff, and millions of fans were holding their breath. So, how did this whole mess even start? Well, on October 31st, millions of people who subscribed to YouTube TV suddenly found that some of their favorite Disney-owned channels, we're talking big ones like ESPN and ABC, were just gone. The screens literally went dark. And the timing on this was just brutal. I mean, this wasn't some random Tuesday in the middle of the day. The blackout hit right as fans were getting hyped for some huge college football games, not to mention Monday Night Football. Just imagine, you settle onto the couch to watch your team, you click the channel and nothing. The outrage was instant. So, this basically set the stage for a massive game of chicken between two titans of industry. You've got the media empire of Disney, the king of content, in one corner, and in the other corner, you have the tech behemoth Google, with its massive distribution platform, YouTube TV. And believe me, neither side was ready to blink first. And here's what the fight really boiled down to. Disney was trying to protect the value of its crown jewels, especially ESPN. They were demanding what's called a carriage fee of over $10 for every single subscriber. That's the highest in the entire industry. But YouTube TV, on the other hand, was pushing back hard. They were resisting those sky-high fees and really pushing for more flexibility in how they could offer channels to you, the consumer. Now, the financial pressure here was just immense, and it was mostly on Disney. A report from Morgan Stanley estimated that Disney was losing something like $30 million in revenue for every single week its channels were off the air. That is a huge incentive to get a deal done, and fast. So while Disney's over here bleeding cash, what does YouTube TV do? They actually went on offense with their customers. They offered a $20 credit to every subscriber to say, "Sorry for the trouble." Talk about a smart PR move, right? It was their way of managing customer loyalty and basically pointing the finger for the blackout right back at Disney. Okay, so you have both sides totally dug in. What on earth could break the stalemate? Well, it all came down to the one thing that viewers absolutely will not miss: huge, can't-miss live sporting events. Let's look at the timeline. The blackout kicked off on October 31st. For 2 weeks, it was a total stalemate. But then, as a massive weekend of college football got closer and closer, the pressure became absolutely unbearable. And then, just in the nick of time, a deal was suddenly announced. Coincidence? I think not. And listen, these weren't just any old games. We're talking about monster, high-profile matchups with enormous, passionate fan bases. Texas versus Georgia, Notre Dame against Pitt, Oklahoma versus Alabama. The very real threat of millions of angry fans not being able to watch these games, that was the ultimate deadline that forced both of these companies back to the table. All right, so how did they finally break the logjam and get a deal done? Well, the resolution tells us a lot about where the real power is in the media industry right now. Things got so bad, the gridlock was so complete that the top dogs had to step in. Reports suggested that Disney's CEO, Bob Iger, and Google's CEO, Sundar Pichai, had to get personally involved to push this thing across the finish line. When the CEOs are on the phone, you know the stakes could not be any higher. So what was the final score? Well, the exact dollar amounts are still under wraps, but it really looks like YouTube TV scored a major victory here. They reportedly got way more flexibility in how they can bundle Disney's networks for their customers. And that, my friends, is a huge deal. It's like a major crack appearing in the foundation of the old rigid cable model. Now, you might be tempted to look at this whole thing and just say, it's just another contract dispute. But it is so much more than that. This standoff is actually a perfect snapshot of the massive, disruptive changes that are shaking up the entire media and entertainment world. Yeah, industry analyst Thomas Wagenberg really hit the nail on the head. He said this wasn't just some pricing squabble. No, it's a glimpse into the slow, steady unraveling of that traditional cable TV bundle that has basically dominated our living rooms for decades. So, when you boil this entire showdown down, you're left with three really key takeaways. First, the power of live sports is just undeniable. It is the ultimate bargaining chip. Second, huge distributors like YouTube TV now have a ton of leverage to demand better deals. And third, the old take it or leave it cable bundle, it's officially breaking apart, and that means more choice for you.
And all of this leads to the next logical move in this giant chess match. To avoid this kind of headache in the future, these big tech platforms are realizing that owning the content themselves is the ultimate power play. That's why getting their hands on major sports rights, like YouTube did with the NFL Sunday Ticket, is no longer just a nice little luxury. It's becoming an absolute necessity to survive.
Which leaves us with one last big question to chew on. As these tech giants stop just distributing content and start owning the biggest sports leagues directly, are we watching the final days of the TV bundle as we've always known it? Is the whole idea of a channel about to change forever? Thank you for watching. This is where we help you get smarter than your competition. To continue learning with us, subscribe to the Technical Writing Success YouTube channel. And if you found this valuable, please like, comment, and share to help us reach a wider audience.